Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Imagine for a moment that you're in a boat, adrift on the vast ocean of existence. The waves rise and fall, the wind blows in all directions, and you feel completely at the mercy of nature's forces. Now think, what if I told you that you have the power to navigate this boat in any direction you desire, that you can regain control not just of the boat, but of your entire life journey? Today, we'll dive deep into the wisdom of Alan Watts, one of the 20th century's most influential philosophers, to discover how we can truly take the reins of our lives. And believe me, what you're about to hear might completely change your perspective on control, personal power, and the flow of life. Alan Watts challenges us with a revolutionary idea. The control we so desperately seek might be the very thing preventing us from fully living. He invites us to consider that perhaps, just perhaps, true freedom lies in letting go, not in holding on. Think for a moment. How many times have you felt frustrated because things didn't go exactly as planned? How many nights have you spent awake, worried about a future that hasn't yet arrived? This relentless pursuit of absolute control is not only exhausting, but fundamentally flawed. The Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." This idea resonates deeply with Watts's teachings. He invites us to question our perceptions and the way we interpret life's events. Watts suggests that instead of trying to control the world around us, we should focus on cultivating a harmonious relationship with it. It's like a dancer who doesn't try to control the music but learns to move in sync with it. Imagine you're stuck in a traffic jam. You can get frustrated, curse at other drivers, and feel like you've lost control of your day. Or you can see it as an opportunity, perhaps to listen to an inspiring podcast, reflect on your goals, or simply practice patience. The situation hasn't changed, but your response to it has, and it's in this response that true control resides. Alan Watts challenges us to see the world in a completely new way. He suggests that instead of fighting against the current of life, we should learn to swim with it. This doesn't mean passivity or resignation, but a form of active and conscious engagement with the present. Think about how your life would be if you could embrace every moment, every challenge, every opportunity with the same curiosity and openness as a child exploring a new playground. What if, instead of fearing the unknown, you saw it as an invitation to grow and evolve? Watts reminds us that we are an integral part of the universe, not separate from it. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, our lives are not separate from the flow of existence. When we deeply understand this, we begin to see that control is not something we need to impose on the world, but something that naturally emerges from our harmony with it. But how can we apply this wisdom in our everyday lives? How can we regain control in a way that aligns with these principles? First, we need to practice mindfulness. This means being truly present in each moment, observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When we become attentive observers of our internal experiences, we gain a new perspective on our reactions and behaviors. Try this right now. Close your eyes for a moment and simply observe your breath. Feel the air entering and leaving your lungs. Notice the thoughts passing through your mind, but don't attach to them. This simple act of conscious observation is the first step to regaining control of your internal experience. Secondly, we must learn to embrace uncertainty. Life is inherently unpredictable, and the more we try to control it, the more anxious and frustrated we become. Instead, we can cultivate an attitude of curiosity and openness in the face of the unknown. Psychologist Carl Jung said, "What you resist persists, what you accept transforms." This idea is at the core of Watts's teachings about control. When we stop resisting reality as it is and begin to accept it, we open space for genuine transformation. Think of a time in your life when you struggled against a situation, only to realize later that this struggle was making everything more difficult. Now imagine what it would be like if you could approach each challenge with an attitude of acceptance and curiosity. How would this change your experience? Alan Watts invites us to see life as a dance, not a battle. In a dance, there are no winners or losers, just partners moving in harmony. When we apply this metaphor to life, we begin to see that control is not about dominating or conquering, but about moving gracefully with the rhythm of existence. This doesn't mean we should be passive or give up on our goals. On the contrary, it means we can pursue our dreams with a new attitude, one that recognizes that the process is as important as the final result. Writer and philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "Life is a journey, not a destination." This idea aligns perfectly with Watts's philosophy. When we focus too much on the destination, we lose the beauty and lessons of the journey. Regaining control, in this sense, means being fully present and engaged in each step of the journey. But how can we translate this philosophy into practical actions? How can we really regain control in a world that often seems chaotic and unpredictable? Start by practicing radical acceptance. This doesn't mean you like everything that happens, but that you recognize reality as it is, without resistance. When something challenging occurs, instead of immediately reacting or trying to change it, pause. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, "This is happening. I may not like it, but I can accept it as part of my current experience." Next, cultivate mental flexibility. Watts often spoke about the importance of maintaining an open and adaptable mind. When we rigidly cling to our expectations and plans, we become fragile. But when we cultivate flexibility, we become resilient. Try approaching a challenging situation in your life with a new perspective. Ask yourself, what if this wasn't a problem but an opportunity? What could I learn, or how could I grow from this? Another powerful practice is detachment. This doesn't mean not caring, but rather not clinging. Watts teaches us that much of our suffering comes from our attachment to ideas, possessions, specific outcomes. When we learn to let go, we paradoxically gain more control over our emotional experiences. Try this exercise. Think of something you're currently very attached to. It could be a goal, a relationship, a belief. Now imagine gently releasing that attachment. How do you feel? What new possibilities open up when you're not so rigidly clinging to a specific outcome? Alan Watts also emphasized the importance of living in the present. The past is gone, the future hasn't arrived, and the only moment we can really act and experience life is now. When we focus our attention on the present moment, we gain a sense of control that's impossible when we're lost in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. Practice bringing your attention back to the present moment several times a day. Use your senses as anchors. What can you see, hear, feel, smell, or taste right now? This simple practice can radically transform your life experience and your sense of control. Remember, regaining control is not about dominating the external world, but about cultivating a harmonious relationship with it. It's about developing the wisdom to know when to act and when to let things follow their natural course. Psychologist and author Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi introduced the concept of flow, a state of complete immersion and harmony with what we're doing. This state, which many athletes and artists describe as being in the zone, is a perfect example of the kind of control that Watts invites us to cultivate. Think of a time when you felt completely absorbed in an activity, where time seemed to disappear and you felt perfectly aligned with what you were doing. That's the kind of control that naturally emerges when we're in harmony with the flow of life. Alan Watts challenges us to see that we are an integral part of the universe, not separate from it. When we internalize this truth, our perspective on control changes dramatically. We're no longer fighting against the universe, but dancing with it. Imagine yourself as part of a great river. You can fight against the current, exhausting yourself in the process, or you can learn to navigate skillfully, using the river's own force to take you where you want to go. This is the essence of true control. It's not domination, but mastery. As we integrate these ideas into our lives, we begin to experience a sense of freedom and power that's profoundly different from conventional control. It's a sense of control that comes from within, that doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on our attitude and perspective. Watts reminds us that life is a game, and that we often take this game too seriously. When we can adopt a lighter, more playful attitude towards life, we paradoxically become more effective in navigating its challenges. Try approaching a problem in your life as if it were an intriguing game to be solved, rather than an overwhelming crisis. How does this shift in perspective affect your approach and your emotions? Remember, the goal is not to eliminate all challenges or difficulties from life. That's not only impossible, but it would also deprive us of the opportunities for growth and learning that these experiences offer. True control lies in how we respond to these situations. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This idea resonates deeply with Watts's teachings. Real control begins with mastery of our own mind and attitudes. As we practice these ideas, we begin to experience a profound shift in our relationship with life. Instead of feeling like victims of circumstances, we become active co-creators of our experience. This doesn't mean everything will always go as we want, but it means we can find peace, purpose, and even joy amidst life's ups and downs. Alan Watts invites us to see that the universe is not something separate from us, something to be feared or conquered, but something of which we are a unique and vital expression. When we embrace this truth, our quest for control transforms into a dance of co-creation with the cosmos. Think about what it would be like to live each day with this awareness that you are a unique and precious expression of the universe, playing your part in the great cosmic drama. How would this change the way you approach your challenges, your relationships, your goals? As we internalize these ideas, we begin to experience a sense of freedom and empowerment that is deeply transformative. We're no longer at the mercy of external circumstances, but anchored in a deeper understanding of who we are and our place in the universe. Watts reminds us that life is a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved. When we approach life with this attitude of curiosity and openness, we discover that the control we sought was within us all along. Now, I want you to reflect for a moment. Think of an area in your life where you've been struggling to maintain control. How could you apply the principles we've discussed today to that situation? What would it be like if you could let go a little, flow with the circumstances instead of fighting against them? Remember, regaining control is not a final destination, but an ongoing practice. It's an invitation to live in a more conscious, more connected, and ultimately more fulfilling way. The ideas we've explored today have the power to profoundly transform not just our individual experience, but also our collective relationship with the world. Imagine a society where more people approached life with this attitude of acceptance, flexibility, and harmony. How would this change our interactions, our institutions, our planet? Alan Watts offers us a radical and liberating vision of what it means to be alive and human. He invites us to abandon our limited notions of control and embrace a way of being that is both more relaxed and more powerful. As we come to the end of this exploration, I want to leave you with a challenge. In the coming days, consciously practice letting go of control in small situations. Observe how you feel, what you learn, and most importantly, notice how this practice affects your overall sense of peace and empowerment. Remember, you are an integral part of the flow of life. You don't need to fight against the current. You can learn to surf the waves with grace and skill. And in this dance with the universe, you may discover a sense of control and freedom that goes beyond anything you've ever imagined. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to share in the comments an area of your life where you intend to practice control without controlling. Your journey might inspire others to do the same, and if you felt touched by these ideas, don't stop here. Continue exploring the teachings of Alan Watts and other great thinkers who invite us to see life from a new perspective. Each step in this journey of self-discovery is an opportunity for a richer, fuller, more authentic life. Remember, true control is not about dominating the external world, but about cultivating a harmonious relationship with it and with yourself. It's an ongoing process of learning, growth, and transformation. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or out of control, pause, take a deep breath, remember the words of Alan Watts, and allow yourself to flow with the river of life, confident in your ability to navigate whatever comes. You have the power to regain control, not through force or resistance, but through acceptance, flexibility, and harmony. This is the wisdom that Alan Watts offers us, and it's an invitation to a life of profound peace and joy. Thank you for embarking on this journey of discovery with me. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and remember, you are a unique and wonderful expression of the universe. Live that truth fully.